श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Now the Mangalacharanam. Dikkaladhyanavacchinnananda chinmatra murtaye स्वानुभूत्यैकमानाय नमः शान्ताय तेजसे। Today we are having the Neeti Shatakam session 5, and I will be talking about the 5th topic, and that is the role of Purushartha or free will. So out of the 100 plus, there are I think 109 shlokas in this grantha composed by Bhartrhari, which covers broadly 5 topics. What are they? First was Mudha Paddhati, the nature of Avivekis. Then Samanya Dharmas, universal values. Then third, Sajjana Purushas, wise people. Then fourth, which we saw in the last session, is Vidhi. Vidhi or destiny or fate, and today we are going to see its counterpart, that is Purushartha. Now, what did we see in the last session? Vidhi. Vidhi means what? Daivam we call, fate, destiny, prarabdha, nija bhala patta likhitam, tala ezhuthu, we say, what is written in my forehead or in the palms, lines of the palms, or my horoscope chart reveals my Vidhi. But we saw Vidhi is nothing other than Purva Janma Karma Phalam. Yeah? That which is manifesting now in my life as a result of my own past karmas is what is Vidhi. Yeah? Vidhi or destiny. And that Vidhi appears to be choiceless. Yeah? Do we have a choice? I have no choice when it comes to where I am born, to whom I am born, gender, gotram, nakshatram, the state of the body, the siblings, and the set of experiences the body has to go through. All part of Vidhi or destiny. So some people think that whole life is Vidhi. Yeah, everything is preordained and destined. In fact, Bhartrhari calls them asuras. He says because they are so fatalistic. They feel that nothing is possible. They don't take any initiative. They don't take any change. They are lazy and they're as good as asuras. Yeah. But definitely, Vidhi is a very powerful factor governing our life. Yeah. Now, the counterpart of Vidhi is, if everything is not, all is predestined, then what is the role of Purushartha? Purushartha means effort. Yeah, Purushartha is the role of free will. And why is it there? Because only human beings are endowed with the faculty of choice. Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha va kartum shakyam. This freedom is given only to human beings. I can choose to do something or ignore and not do anything or do it differently. Shall I get up today morning or not go to work or attend office? Yeah, should I get up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock? Should I cook for myself or order food from outside? No. So because this free will is there, then we can make choices. But because of that comes conflict also. Am I making the right choice? I will never know. There is no perfect decision. So the role of Purushartha is I can accept my Vidhi, destiny, I can ignore it, or I can change it. I can apply my Vidhi to change it. And that is why we have that serenity prayer. Beautiful prayer, no? Oh Lord, give me the capacity, the serenity to accept what I cannot change, Vidhi. Give me the courage to change what I can, applying Purushartha, but I need the wisdom, the Viveka, to know the difference between the two. What I can change, yeah, I can change, but I should be ready to face the consequences. What I cannot change, why should I waste my effort? There, let me accept it graciously as prasada. In fact, everything is prasada. Purushartha is prasada, Ishvara prasada, Vidhi is Ishvara prasada. So, there are some people who say that free will is everything. Some people say Vidhi is everything. But Shastra says both. Our life is governed by a combination of both. Definitely, Vidhi is a very strong factor. But by Purushartha also, I can steer my life and change the tracks. So the future is in one's hands. No? That is why Krishna has said in the Gita, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam Natmanam Avasadaye Atmaiva Hyatmanu Bandhuhu Hyatma Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. So lift your mind by your mind. Do not put yourself down. What is that called? Putting oneself down. Okay, everything is fatalistic. Then we start blame gaming. Yeah, and my life is because of my parents or the society or the government, and this is how it is. I cannot change. Or we blame the life upon the stars and the planets. I am going through Shani Dasha. I was born in the Rahu Dasha, or this nakshatram. Some nakshatrams are considered inauspicious, some are positive. All this is very fatalistic thinking. So today session, we will focus on how, what are Bhatrahari's views on the role of Purushartha. In fact, there is a very beautiful Subhashitam. I'm sure it is very well known to most of you. Yathahi ekena chakrena rathasya gatihi na bhave tathapi purushakarena vina mokshaha na siddhyati or daivam na siddhyati. That is, imagine a cart or a vehicle with two wheels. So both wheels have to cooperate to move forward. So too, Vidhi is one wheel in this cart of life and Purushartha is the other wheel. So at times, when there is a Prabala Prarabdha, Prabala means powerful Vidhi, we have no choice but to accept the situation, as Prasada. But Purushartha, definitely we can apply to change my circumstances. No, if there was no Purushartha, we would not be attending the Zoom session. Yeah, but we want to steer our life and gain this knowledge, and so that is the role of Purushartha. So this is a very controversial topic and oft debated: fate versus free will. Some people say fate is everything. Some people say free will is everything. But it is really a combination of both. Now, is the free will a blessing or a curse? Both. It depends, right? If we abuse the free will, as we are seeing in the news today, yeah, if the free will is abused, we go against dharma, and then definitely it is going to entangle one more in the karmic net and cause these horrific consequences. But if the free will is applied in a sattvic way to gain the liberating knowledge, to go against the samsaric trend, then we are moving one step closer to freedom, to peace and happiness. Yeah, that is the role of Purushartha. So the free will is really my response to Vidhi. What is already begun to manifest in my life, my prarabdha, I can change it, to in my favor. I can learn from my past mistakes, from the experiences, and have inner growth. In fact, the Shastra says that those who go against the lower mind, then all the devatas, the whole universe will assist you in moving forward. You get the strength of the whole universe. But we have to take that first step forward. And that is what is Atma Kripa. Atma Kripa is nothing but Purushartha. So Guru Kripa can be there, Ishvara Kripa is always there, Shastra Kripa is always there. All the three are always there. But Atma Kripa, we have to take the first step. So, Udyamam Sahasam Dhairyam Buddhi Shakti Parakramaha Shadete Yatra Vartante Tatra Daivaha Sahayakrit. So, Udyama, Sahasam, Dhairyam, Buddhi, Shakti, Parakramaha, all these beautiful values, if they are there, then all the devatas rush in to complete that undertaking or project for you. That is the role of Purushartha. And we have countless examples from our Shastras, Puranas and Itihasas, how Purushartha goes against the Vidhi. Savitri, she brought back Satyavan from the jaws of Yama. Then Nachiketa, look at his Purushartha, his Vairagyam. He goes all the way to Yamaloka and gets the Upadesha. Then Yudhishthira, when the exile period, he was so depressed. And then Draupadi and some sages come and they tell them the stories of Rama. How Rama had to undergo worse suffering. And Nala, Damayanti, this is nothing, Yudhishthira. So the time will change, karma will change, and you will, get what is rightfully yours. So Prahalada, Dhruva, all these people, they did intense Purushartha to gain the grace of Narayana. Even Bhattatri, the composer of Narayaniam, he was afflicted with a serious disease. That was the Vidhi. Yeah. But then he began to compose the Narayaniam, and even during the composition, he realized that what am I asking? I'm asking for such a small thing as recovery of this disease when I can get the darshanam of Narayana. So he became a Nishkama Bhakta, and his disease also got cured. Yeah. Draupadi also, her Vidhi was to go through the, intense situation in the Rajya Sabha, but she called Dwarakanatha, and that prayer answered, and she also obtained the Lord's grace. So, even though Vidhi seems not choiceless, and we don't know the hidden variables which stand against us, but prayer is a powerful force that can rearrange those variables in our life and can even reverse the Vidhi at times. Yeah. So that is the glory of Vidhi. Now, today, in connection with this topic, I want to explain the Kamo Karshit mantra. You may have heard Kamo Karshit Namo Namaha, Manyura Karshit Namo Namaha, no? So, in the Shravana Masam, Shravana month, the Vaidikas, who changed the sacred threads ceremony, they will chant this mantra 108 times or 1008 times, Yatha Shakti, as as per the capacity. It's a very beautiful mantra which I have shared, and I will share it now again. And it is very much connected to our study here. So, here it is. Kamo Karshit Namo Namaha, Kamo Karshit, Kamah Karoti, Na Aham Karomi, Kamah Karta, Na Aham Karta, Kamah Karita, Na Aham Karita, Eshate Kama, Kamaya Swaha. So here, if I break the sandhis, here's the next slide. Kamaha Akarshit. Namo Namaha. Kamaha Akarshit. Kamaha Karoti. So Kama, means desire. Yeah. So on this day, that was yesterday, when the Vaidikas would have chanted this mantra, beautiful mantra, which says, desire did. Kamaha Akarshit. Namo Namaha. My salutations to desire. Yeah. Why? Because desire is the privilege. It's a blessing. Krishna has said, dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi he bharatarshaba. I am the privilege of desire, Ichha Shakti in all human beings. That is Purushartha. But here the chanter says, Kama, desire did. Whatever it did, positive or negative. Namo Namaha. Then Kamaha Akarshit. Again, same thing. Kama did. Then Kamaha Karoti. Kama does. Not only did in the past, but even does even now. Na aham karomi. I don't do anything. Kamaha karta. Desire is the karta. Na aham karta. I am not the karta. Then kamaha kareta. Now, you know the difference between karta and kareta? One who makes it causal. You know, kamaha karoti means desire does it. That is kartari prayoga. Okay. Then kareta means you're an agent. You make things happen. So either you cook, aham pachami, or aham pachayami means I hire a cook to cook. Yeah. So here this mantra says that desire did. Desire is a real doer, and desire is doing. I am not the doer, nor am I the agent of action. Kama alone is both. Okay. Now let's see that once again. Then na aham karta kamaha kareta. Na aham kareta. Esha te kama. Te means tava. Unto you, Kama, hey Kama, what Kama yaswaha? My salutations, my namaskaras to Kama. This is the first mantra. Let's see it again. Kamo karshit namo namaha. Kamo karshit kamak karoti. Naham karomi kamak karta. Naham karta. Kamaha kareta. Naham kareta. Eshate hey Kama, Kama yaswaha. Then the next one is the same pattern, but the word kama is replaced by manyuhu. Manyuhu means anger. Yeah, anger. So, same thing. Manyurakarshit namo namaha. Manyurakarshit. Manyuhu karoti. Na aham karomi. Manyuhu karta. Na aham karta. Manyuhu kareta. Na aham kareta. Hey manyo, manyave swaha. So just replace the logic of the kama logic with manyuhu. Now, manyuhu means anger. You know, and from the Gita we know that. You know? Kama krodho abhijayate. In chapter 2, Krishna says that anger is only a later stage of kama. When kama is unfulfilled, by some person comes in the way, then you know that person will become the victim of my anger. Yeah. So krodha or manyuhu in this mantra stands for anger. So again, what are we chanting here? Or the Vaidikas, what are they chanting? Manyuhu did, the anger did, and anger is doing. Yeah. Anger is the karta, anger is the kareta. I am not the karta, I am not the kareta. I am neither the doer, nor causing things to happen. Yeah. So now this we have to understand this mantra, no? Why do we chant it so many times in the Shravana Masam? Are we shifting the blame to desire very conveniently? Oh, desire is the real, culprit? No. The more we chant this mantra, what are we doing? We are developing the space of awareness. Yeah, that I am akarta, abhokta, sakshi, and I am understanding the psychology of the mind. How in the mind the desire comes, and the desire, when fulfilled, forms karma. When non-fulfilled, manyuhu. Yeah. So this gives me an insight into my own mind, so that this becomes an anushtanam itself, a sadhana to gain the shamaha, the mastery over the mind. Yeah, mastery over the mind, so that may I have only sattvic desires which are non-binding, which are unopposed to dharma, and may I have that desire. You know, when the Srishti is about to begin, there is a mantra which appears in the cosmic mind of Parabrahma, which comes in the Chandogya Upanishad. So kamayata, which is saha akamayata. That means in Nirguna Parabrahma, there is a thought, yeah, that he desired. What did, Parameshwara desire? to become many. Prajayeya, bahuni prajayeya. That means what? The Srishti may begin. May there be plurality. May from the causal state, the Srishti begin. So this is for us to understand that karma is not the problem. Yeah. But where we are channelizing the karma, that is the problem. And we know that from chapter 2 Gita again, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. The wise person, karmas will come to his mind also, but he will not go along with the karma. The karma, like a wave, will subside in the mind lake back again. Prajahati yada kama. So this mantra, gives one the viveka. The viveka, how to be aware of all our karmas and which karma am I going to encourage and which karma is not needed. And so I diffuse it in the mind itself. That is the, beautiful mantra this is. And let us see it one more time. कामोकार्षीत् नमो नमः कामोकार्षीत् कामः करोति नाहं करोमि कामः कर्ता नाहं कर्ता कामः कारयिता नाहं कारयिता एष ते हे काम कामाय स्वाहा. Same thing. मन्युरकार्षीत् नमो नमः मन्युरकार्षीत् मन्युः करोति नाहं करोमि मन्युः कर्ता नाहं कर्ता मन्युः कारयिता नाहं कारयिता हे मन्यो मन्यवे स्वाहा. That is, about these mantras which are chanted once a year in the Shravana Masa, which some of you would have done yesterday. All right. So now let us come to Bhartrhari's verses on Purushartha. The fifth topic, that is our topic today. So here we have the next shloka number 82. Now in these verses, Bhartrhari is going to, show us the nature of positive Purushartha. How can I apply my free will, the faculty of choice, even though it's given? How do I express it? How do I apply it? So let us chant this first. Kaschit Prithivi Shayyaha Kaschit Api Na Paranga Shayanaha Kaschit Shakaharaha Kaschit Api Cha Shalyo Dhanaruchihi Kaschit Kanthadhari Kaschit Api Cha Divyambaradharaha Manasvi Karyarthi Na Ganayati Dukham Nacha Sukham. So let's take the last line, Manasvi Karyarthi. Now Manasvi means a person who is, very enthusiastic. Enthusiastic and dynamic. Yeah, dynamic person who is a karyarthi also. Karyarthi means what? The one who is desirous of doing some karyam, accomplishing some goal, whether prayo marga or shreyo marga. One of the four purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, is a karyarthi. But manasvi means he is full of enthusiasm and courage. Then what will this person do? Na ganayati dukkham cha sukham cha. He will not take into consideration the obstacles giving dukkham, or he will not be swept away by sukham, favorable situations also. Both he will face it with samatvam. Yeah. So he will not consider pain as pain. Rather, he will consider every situation as an opportunity for growth and gain the maturity. Such a one is a manasvi and a karyarthi. He sees it as an opportunity to grow. Then the rest of the words you can see starts with kvachit, kvachit, kvachit. Kvachit means someone. No? So someone, is a prithivi shayyaha. For someone, the rough earth can be the bed to sleep upon. Prarabdha is like that. And kvachidapi ja paryanka shayanaha. Others will have a nice cot, king size cot or queen size cot to sleep upon. Yeah. Then kvachit shakahara. Some will only have these fruits and vegetables, in the forest like Sri Rama in the exile period, only shakaharis. And kvachit api cha shalyo dhanaruchihi. Others will have, nutritious grains and tasty food to eat. Then kvachit kanthadhari. Kanthadhari means, see, kantha is rags. In some states, I think Gujarat, they will never throw away the piece of cloth after stitching. So in a tailor's, in a shop, you'll find a lot of pieces of cloth. So they will make a kantha. Kantha means like an overcoat or a cloak, and they'll stitch all the remaining pieces. So it looks very colorful, but it can be worn. So kanthadhari is who doesn't have money to buy expensive clothes and who will receive such a garment and wear it. So somebody is a kanthadhari. Then kvachitapi cha divyambaradharaha, and someone else maybe have luxurious branded clothes. But this manasvi karyarthi na ganayati cha dukkham na cha sukham. Yeah. So the idea here is that sometimes you have tasty food, sometimes you have simple food, sometimes the circumstances are very lean, humble, simple, sometimes luxurious. Prarabdha will place us in such situations, but this manasvi karyarthi will never lose sight of the goal. He will not be affected. Whether it is a prayo marga or a shreyo marga, he will always be focused on the goal. Yeah? So this shows the attitude. This shloka shows the orientation, non-demanding, all-accepting attitude and orientation towards the vidhi, and yet using it in a very positive way to gain maturity and make progress. Yeah. Let's see the next shloka now. Again, all simple shlokas here, but they convey, great ideas. Yeah, you see the shloka again here after the meaning. Kvachit prithvi shayyaha, kvachit api cha paranga shayanaha, kvachit shakaharaha, kvachit api cha shalyo dhanaruchihi, kvachit kanthadhari, kvachit api cha divyambaradharaha, manasvi karyarthi na ganayati dukkham na cha sukham. Next shloka. Here also, what is shown here is that persistent effort to stick to the dharma marga. Despite any obstacle, come what may. Verse number 84. Nindantu neeti nipunaha. Nindantu neeti yadi vastuvantu. Yadi vastuvantu. Nindantu neeti nipuna yadi vastuvantu. नीति निपुणा यदि वास्तुवन्तु लक्ष्मी समाविशतु गच्छतु वा यथेष्टम् लक्ष्मी समाविशतु गच्छतु वा यथेष्टम् अद्यैव वामरणम् अस्तु युगान्तरे वा न्यायात् पथः प्रविचलन्ति पदं न धीराः पदः प्रविचलन्ति पदं न धीराः निन्दन्तु नीति निपुणाः यदि वा स्तुवन्तु लक्ष्मीः समाविशतु गच्छतु वा यथा इष्टम् अद्य एव वः मरणम् अस्तु युगान्तरे वा न्यायात् पथः प्रविचलन्ति पदं न धीराः. I think meaning is quite clear here. Yeah. So here Bhatrahari says that these Neeti Nipunaha, who are the Neeti Nipunaha? Some scholars and great people, they may sometimes criticize you, Nindantu, or they will congratulate you and praise you to the skies, Stavantu. Yeah. Then supposing you have bought land, you want to buy land and cultivate it. They'll say, why are you making this mistake? You know, this is not a good decision. And others will say, oh, yes, why didn't you make a fruit orchard? Yeah. Or, one student, she was not well. And then, how freely unsolicited advice will be given. One will say, take allopathic medicine. Another will take Ayurvedic medicine is the best. A third will say, naturopathy is the best. And so on. Homeopathy. Then finally, what did that student do? Drop all the systems of medicine. She says, Amma, now I am peaceful. I am free from all this. Yeah. So this unsolicited advice should be given. So that is why we should not consult too many people, too many swamis, gurus, too many astrologers. Or if one devata in this temple is not supporting my desire, I go to Tirumala or Rameshwaram because I want my desire fulfilled. No. So here Bhadrahari is saying, once you have a goal in mind, sattvic goal in mind, then there will be testing times. There will be testing times, like some people will congratulate you, some people will criticize your efforts. Yeah. And then Lakshmi samavishatu gachatu va yathashtam. Then you may have the grace of Mahalakshmi, funding will be there, resources will be there. Yeah. Or she may not be there also. She may not be present very visibly. Then adya eva va maranam astu. Even at the cost of death, at the cost of death, or yugantareva, or death can come after a yuga, after a long time, after yuga. Then what do the dhiras do? Na pravichananti. They do not swerve, or they do not get distracted from the nyaya pataha, from the path of nyayam, or the path of dharma. So here, this is the verse to how to be firm and strong in the mind. Now, Puja Swamiji will say we should all have staying power. Staying power is that shraddha, that commitment, consistency in whatever we do. If we continue to make excuses like, oh, Swamanyama, I cannot attend this class, I cannot attend this camp, we are all grahasthas after all, what can we do? We are heavily caught in Maya. That means you are not availing your Purushartha to the maximum. If we take one step and change that trend in the mind, yes, I can do that, then it becomes easier and easier for us to follow the path of Dharma, and Dharma will lead to moksha. So here it is about, to be bold and to be very determined in this shloka. Bhadrahari talks about that. Let's chant it again. After the meaning, you'll be able to see also. Nindantu niti nipuna yadi vastuvantu. Nindantu niti nipuna vastuvantu. Lakshmi samavishatu gacchatu vayatheshtam. Lakshmi samavishatu gacchatu vayatheshtam. Adyaiva va maranamastu yugantareva. अस्तु युगान्तरेवा न्यायात् पथः प्रविचलन्ति पदं न धीराः न्यायात् पथः प्रविचलन्ति पदं न धीराः. Let's go to the next one, 87. This is a simple shloka. Again, what is glorified here? Dhiras. Remember, now we are seeing the verses where the Dhira Purusha is eulogized, is praised, because he has understood the importance and role of Purushartha. And here, what does Bhadrahari say? Chinnopi rohati taruhu. Chinnopi rohati taruhu. Make that taruhu, there's a slight typo. Kshinopyupa chiyate punaschandraha. Kshinopyupa punaschandraha. Chinnopi rohati taruhu. Kshinopi upachiyate punaha chandraha. Iti vimrishantaha santaha. Vimrishantaha santaha. Santapyante na dukkeshu. Santapyante na dukkeshu. Yeah. So here Bhartrihari says, gives two examples. No? Example of a tree and example of the moon. Chinnaha api rohati taruhu. Now chinnaha means cut. We know that trees, suffer this fate. Their vidhi is anybody can cut them. People come for shade, leaves, flowers, fruits, and wood. To make their pencils, their homes, or their desks and chairs. This is the sad vidhi for the trees. But chinnaha api taruhu rohati. So even when we cut a branch of the tree, or let's say the tree is uprooted in a tsunami or this Wayanad calamity, there will be a tiny root which will again spring back. So even in the worst circumstance, there seems to be a hope of survival. There'll be one root which will spring back fresh and green and come back to become a bush or a tree. So let us learn from the tree and not lose that spark of hope and confidence even in the most challenging situation is the first example. Okay. Second example, Chandraha Kshinaha api vardhate loke. Upachiyate, na? Upachiyate means grows. We just now have the Purnima. Now what? There is this Paksha. Krishna Paksha is coming, na? So the dark side of the moon. But the moon knows that it will again come to become the full moon in a month. Yeah. So too, the fatalistic people will always focus on what? On the dark side of life. On accidents, misfortunes, this nakshatra, this Shani Dasha, this Rahu Dasha. They will not see that the cup is half full. They will see the cup is half empty. Focus on failures and negative trends. So Puja Swamiji said, be kind to the mind. You validate yourself. You praise yourself. How much have you accomplished so far? Quite a bit in life. Yeah. And so nothing can stop you and have that courage. So just as the moon will again grow back to its fullness, even though it has to go through the dark period of waning, so too there may come this waning, lean period in my life, but I have to accept it as prasada and go through it courageously, always keeping my mind positive and for, higher progress. Yeah. So the next line was, iti vimrishantaha santaha. Santaha means sadhu janas, yeah? The vivekis, the dhiras, the sadhu janas, vimrishantaha, they do vimarsha. Vimarsha means viveka, vairagyam, analysis, they will reflect and analyze, maybe something I'm doing wrong, yeah, but I don't need to blame anybody, I don't need to be depressed, yeah. So they will study the biographies of great swamis and great people and learn. And they're able to bring about positive changes in their life. Iti vimrishantaha santaha na santapyante loke asmin. And in this world, they will not suffer too much. Yeah. Even though, so much has happened in the past, there may be a cause for sadness and, regret. But they will learn and they will live in the present and steer the future very positively without feeling tormented and frustrated. Okay? Now, next, Bhartrihari is going to advise that when you decide in life, when you apply a Purushartha, how are we going to do that? How can we decide what is good for me, what is not good for me? I will never know because I'm not Sarvajnaha. There is no perfect decision, is there? So when I take a decision, I have to consult Shastras. So remember in the Bhagavad Gita, we had that shloka, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karyau Vyavastitau. So whether you want to do something Karyam or Akarya, you want to avoid something, let Shastra be the Pramanam. Shastra means Shruti, it can be Upanishads or Itihasa, Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata Itihasas, or even the Jnanis and elders who are grounded in the Shastras. We can approach them for decision making. So the next shloka, we are going to see that take your time to decide. Yeah, do not be hasty. Look before you leap is the idea. Yeah. Consult the elders and the wise people. That's the next shloka. Before that, Chinnopi rohati taruhu kshinopi उपचीयते पुनश्चन्द्रः इति विमृशन्तः सन्तः सन्तप्यन्ते न दुःखेषु. गुणवत् अगुणवद्वा पूर्वता कार्यजातम् परिणतिरवधार्या यत्नतः पंडितेन अतिरभसकृतानां कर्मणाम् आविपत्तेः भवति हृदयदाही शल्यतुल्यो विपाकः. गुणवत् अगुणवद्वा कुर्वता कार्यजातं परिणतिरवधार्या यत्नतः पंडितेन अतिरभसकृतानां कर्मणाम् आविपत्तेः भवति हृदयदाही शल्यतुल्यो विपाकः. So when you break the sandhis, gunavat agunavatva kurvata karyajatam parinatihi avadharya yatnatah panditena ati rabhasakritanam karmanam avipattehi bhavati hridayadahi shalyatulyo vipakah. I've displayed the meaning on the screen here. So you see, taking decision, why is it so difficult for all of us? Because there is we don't want to go wrong, and there is a responsibility attached to that. If I take this decision, then I have to face the consequences. So let me take time and to weigh the pros and cons before deciding. That is why they say parents should not decide the career or marriage choice for their children. Why? Because later on, it can happen that the children will blame the parents. My neighbor who had to do dentistry, because the father, compelled her, you have to study this. Now she doesn't enjoy it, but she has to do it. She's a dentist by profession. So it is possible that later on the children may see that, your choice of my life partner was not correct. And why should I do this career? I don't enjoy it anymore. So we have to be bold enough and wise enough to take the proper decision as best as we can. There is no perfect decision, but then that is why this shloka is to consult, to weigh the pros and cons. Otherwise, there will be lifelong regret. That's what the shloka says. So let's look at the words gunavat. Gunavat means a good karyam, mangala karyam, like, you're getting married or you're settling abroad or in some other city, you're traveling, whatever the karyam, starting a new business, yeah. Agunavadva. Agunavadva means not so auspicious. Something very simple. Some small karyam, kurvata karyajatam. Maybe this needs to be done. Then what should one do? Parinatihi avadharya. Avadharya means ascertain. Ascertain what? The consequence. No? Parinatihi. May one study the consequences, the phalam. Settling abroad, what are the plus and the minus. And if I take up a government job or a private job, we have to weigh the pros and cons. No? Work from home or, work from office also has its pros and cons. Yeah. So, measuring all that is called parinatihi avadharya. Then, such a panditena yatnataha. One will put the effort. This viveki, one who applies the purushartha, will put forth this effort. Then the second line is ati rabhasa kritanam. Rabhasa means haste, hurry. Atirabhasa means very impulsively if you do anything in life, no? Then karmanam atirabhasa kritanam avipattehe. Avipattehe means there will be suffering. Avipatte means up to the end of the life. Lifelong, there will be some regret. Yeah. Why did I do this? I should not have done that. And I should have done this. Why did I not do that? So these regrets will be there for everyone. So here, Bhartrahari is giving that caution. Then if we don't do that, then Bhavati Hridaya Dahi. Hridaya Dahi means heart burn. Dahi means that which burns. Hridaya, that which burns the heart. So that if we don't take care of hasty actions, impulsive actions, which we see in the news all the time, yeah, and that will land us in consequences, and then we have to repent the whole life. Hridaya Dahi. Then Shalya Tulyo Vipakaha. Shalya Tulyo Vipakaha means, and the consequences will be like a Shalya. Shalya means thorns. It will prick the mind and we will be overwhelmed with hurts and guilts. So, this is a wonderful shloka, especially for youngsters, children, and we have to train them to be capable in making their own decisions, yeah, and to follow the direction of the Shastras and how to take the proper decision so that they will not be later regrets. Yeah? And hence the smart Shastram Pramanante. So here, even though we are endowed with the faculty of choice, you see this faculty of choice is very unique only to humans. Whereas animals and birds, they have very limited free will. Very limited free will and mostly instinctive it is. Yeah, instinctive. But in the human beings, it is considered as a treasure. As a treasure, and the buddhi is considered as a treasure which has to be applied in the right way. Yeah. Although in the Kali Yuga, it is really becoming just the opposite. We are seeing very adverse applications of this free will. Okay. Now, let's see this verse again. Gunavat agunavat va kurvata karya jatam. Gunavat agunavat va kurvata karya jatam. Parinatihi avadharya. Parinatihi avadharya yatnataha panditena. Yatnataha panditena. Atirabhasa kritanam. Atirabhasa kritanam. Karmanam avipattehe. Bhavati hridaya dahi. Shalyatulyo vipakaha. So, let's just review the last 4 shlokas that we covered today. 82 is talking about this Manasri, Karyarthi. This positive attitude, one who's enthusiastic, enterprising, Manasri Karyarthi, he will not mind, what the situation or circumstance is. Sometimes, he has to sleep on the bare floor. Sometimes he gets a cot, a luxurious bed. Sometimes simple food, sometimes tasty food. Sometimes, simple clothes or luxurious clothes. But he will not be affected either by dukkham or by sukha. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So yoga. Then 84 is when we start on any project, there will be a lot of resistance from people, from your own family members. They will discourage from attending Zoom classes or attending Gita. That's why all this Vedanta study should be kept very private. Otherwise, it will be the spark of Vairagyam will be put out by some people. Nindantu stavantuva. But some may praise. We may have the Kataksha, Lakshmi Kataksha, or we may not. Or it may be, Antakala for some person. And or it can be Yugantareva. Still, from the Nyaya Marga, the Dharma Marga, the chosen path of Dharma and Moksha, one will not swerve. Such are the Dhiras. No? Then the two examples of the tree and the moon. How the tree, even when it is uprooted or cut, still there may be a small branch or a root which survives. Or the moon, it goes through the dark period, waning period, but it will focus on the waxing period and, come back to the full moon. So to the Satpurushas, they also grow in that fullness, the maturity and the knowledge. And they will not be frustrated or brood about the difficulties and challenges. And the last one is whether it is an auspicious, a big work, or a small work, may one weigh the consequences, pros and cons. Remember in the Gita we had that shloka, Dhumena Agnihi Avrataha. There is no karyam which is defect free. Yeah. There can be no fire without smoke. So all undertakings will have some defect or the other. We cannot prevent it. Yeah. But may one consult and wisely ponder over the consequences before taking that step. Parinatihi avadharya yatnataha panditena. Because the hasty conclusion, hasty decisions or hasty steps will land us in lifelong regrets, hridaya dahi, that which will burn the heart. Then Bhartrahari will continue, in these shlokas to talk about, how these Dhira Purusha, they are like the candle flame. You've noticed the candle flame, it is always pointing up. And if you turn the candle down, again the flame will point up only, right? Such is the nature of Dhira Purushas who have that tenacity, the willpower, the staying power and the resilience. And even Vidhi will have to bow down before such a Dhira Purusha. Yeah? They are so determined. Then another beautiful example Bhartrahari gives in the remaining shlokas is that of a rubber ball. If you put a rubber ball on the floor, then it will bounce up. The harder you put it on the floor, the higher it will go. But what about a wet piece of clay? You put it down, chapak, it will just stick to the floor. There's no rise at all. No? So those people who get overwhelmed by circumstances, who are constantly brooding about their failures and seeing only the dark side of Vidhi, they are like the wet clay. And Bhartrahari calls them lazy asuras. But those who put positive purushartha, at any time of the life, it can be at 70, 80, 90, still you have that enthusiasm, the dynamism, then you are like that flame which is always pointing upwards, or like the rubber ball, which is so resilient, it keeps bouncing back. So the topic of this Purushartha is to have the confidence, the boldness, and we see in the world today, even contemporary examples, all these stories from rags to riches, don't we see? I read the story about, this girl in the Dharavi slum area of Mumbai, and she was spotted by an international model, and overnight she became a brand model for cosmetics. So, and that's the vidhi for you, And the other way also, somebody who's a multinational CEO or a great actors, like Marilyn Monroe and Madhubala, what happened to them? Suddenly collapsed, they collapsed because they were not able to face the vidhi and not able to apply the right purushartha. So both is possible. So that's why Swamiji always says, prayerful living is intelligent living. Prayer is a manasik karma. So when we feel helpless and alone, we can send out a prayer like Draupadi, and then seek help also. Seek help so that we are able to get assistance in that purushartha. And then finally the jnani. The jnani is the only one who does not need purushartha, because The whole free will has been already applied. Whatever the vidhi was prasada, purushartha is prasada. Now I'm free from both. So do not need the free will for anything. But until we reach that stage, we have to do positive purushartha. Yeah? That is, I have to be regular and consistent in Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasnam. If this is the path I've chosen, then in my Anushtanam, in my sadhanas and preparations, come what may. The moods of laziness may come, dull weather will come, dull in the mind, but still I have to be like that Dhira Purusha who are constantly going in Swami Shivananda's words, onwards, forwards, Godwards. There is a book, very beautiful book. And okay, with that, we will close today with the Swasti mantras. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ